Good morning. Thanks for joining me. I'm Reed, back at Orchestra Farm. My little pre-morning walkabout as I make my way to work. Got a couple Canadian geese flying in the sky. I don't know if you can see them or hear them, but there they go. And the lush spring is here. It's a full-on time of the year, and because this is in a bit of a frost pocket, it's still really cool down here. And there's still a good amount of water right near the surface, so it's kind of too wet to be planting yet, and it's too wet to really be bringing any machinery down here. So the overgrown look keeps on accelerating, which is an interesting place to be with it. So I'm getting organized in the rest of my life. I had a good live stream yesterday. You can find that on my channel, where I'm coming from my studio space, an entirely different aspect of my life. And I had a couple of my musician friends over last night to play some music. The drummer Oliver Hodswood, who is my collaborator on my OHRR project, which is OHRR. You can find that on my bendingreeds.bandcamp.com page. We have a album that we put out over there, and we've got a gig in October here on the island I'm looking forward to, and talked about some potential other gigs to see about coordinating, lining up. So that's exciting to consider and think about. And with my keys player, I mentioned to him, like, hey, do you think you can make this gig? And he's actually going to architectural school. He is amazing with sacred geometry and laser cutting stuff, and is really upping his game in a huge, awesome way by getting legit on the architecture side. So I'm stoked for him. That also means he's going to be away for 3 years come September. And so finding those nooks and crannies to still get together while he rearranges his life to accomplish that mission, is one of the beautiful things about collaborating with others, and recognizing that, as I develop the artistic side of my life into more of a, legitimate, I don't know that I can call it business. It seems like such a strong stretch, but to be honest, that's an angle I want to establish with it. And I can still smell the poplars here. I was wondering about that this morning. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's really nice. And the water, probably see it there. So we're on the edge of this pond, and just part of a wetland. And that notion of who can I count on in my life to develop projects with? In my, landscaping business, it's been so difficult to find steady help that I've never been able to scale the business in my 10 plus years doing this. And that's what it is, and I feel a bit resigned to that at the moment. And I feel okay with that too, because frankly, I have a nice balance in my life with my work, and not having to manage people is also kind of a nice thing. I don't know if you've ever managed people business-wise, but there's a lot of extras that go in with it. And so, musically though, I definitely love when I can find collaborative moments and groupings and develop that rapport with others. It frequently takes some bit of time, especially since we're not going off of a script, or charts, or, known songs. So it develops you gotta really be able to feel into the person's presence and way that they approach their instrument and their listening of others. It's super fascinating for me. I love that. And with all that, I've been building out my own solo reality, which is what you can see on my live streams here. And when I get together with my musician friends, I'm not bringing my drum machine, kind of for obvious reasons, because I have a drummer. I haven't brought my sampler, though I'm kind of considering that a bit. I could add some definite interesting extra textures in. And the synthesizer that I'm utterly still in the curve of learning would just be nonsense at this point. Whereas when I'm doing the live streaming, the first two elements are 100% present, and then I play saxophone or clarinet with that, and eventually it's gonna take on a whole other arrangement. But it's that, much more easeful thing of I'm only relying on myself, and I'm relying on technology for definite, but that ability to, make it happen as my own being has its benefits. So I'm thinking about all that, and I'm really thinking of how grateful I am of every time I'm able to form a partnership, So I'm grateful for my wife and our partnership with our family. I'm grateful for my musician friends and our partnership. I'm in a men's group, and it feels like that's a form of partnership. And that question of I want to show up as my best self in each of these different things, amongst other things I haven't spoken to, so that I can be, what's the right word? Additive. That my presence is actually help. Ow, that's a big splinter. Want to see that? Let's see. Look at that. And I hope that's how these videos and our time together is for you. Got it? Is, adding something to your life. And if that's true, I would invite you to subscribe to this channel, to like this video. It really helps me out a lot. And if you went an extra distance to share this with others, whoa, that would mean the world to me. So if you've been listening this long and watching, I want to say thank you. I really appreciate you. And I hope that you all have too much fun.